Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live, and I'm actually here, and I'm actually streaming to YouTube, and I'm actually streaming to Rumble. I don't know, the last couple of weeks I've been kind of ditzy. I kind of called out on it. Anyway, hi everybody and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. So first, I want to apologize to all my YouTube people. You probably think I didn't have a show last week, but I did. But I set up wrong, and I streamed to 2 Facebook profiles instead of Facebook and YouTube, and I want to apologize for that. And but you're here this week, so that's good. And might not have any Facebook people, but y'all are here this week. And so last week, we talked about food in the general sense of the word as a piece of nourishment that we put into our bodies. And I talked about how the foods we eat, or how our bodies are designed to, assimilate proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. But when you look at the foods on the planet these days, you go to the supermarket, and the aisles are filled with pre-processed foods that are very toxic, filled with chemicals, filled with artificial flavors and dyes, and not necessarily all that great for you. And so, and I talked about how they can be addictive, or, your body just can't handle the level of toxins that are going on. And so today, I'm going to be talking about our relationship to food. So if you see me looking over, I have a tablet set up because I wanted to see if anybody shows up on my Rumble stream and ask their questions as well. Anyway, so if you happen to be viewing on Rumble, I do have the chat up and open. I cannot access it from my main screen, but I've opened up this screen to see if it works and if anybody's there. So if you hate YouTube or you hate Facebook, but you like Rumble, it does stream to Rumble as well. And I'm going to try to have that chat up and available for people. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about our relationship to food. Now, we all have a relationship with food, one kind or another. Personally, I have a love-hate relationship with food. I want to say I love to eat, and I'm going to caveat that here in a second. I love to eat, but I hate more any weight that I would put on because I actually did eat. But then, and this sounds terrible, but in February, 2 years ago, I got COVID, and everything tasted like tinfoil and cardboard. And since that time, my taste buds have not fully recovered. And so I can eat some stuff that doesn't taste that great because pretty much there's not a whole lot that tastes that great. And so my relationship with food, which was already not great, has become less. In the United States, it seems like people are battling with the bulge. Okay, passenger time. They are battling with the bulge. And from my work as a medical intuitive, there are 2 or 3 primary reasons why people have this issue. I mean, the bigger and the more encompassing reason is because they eat too much, too many calories in, not enough movement. And you take that donut and you might as well just glue it to your hip, and take that beer and just glue those bottles to your belly. But for many people, there is an underlying issue happening tied to their food relationship. For me, I'm pretty clear about it. It's like, I come from a family of eaters. All of my sisters carry way too much extra weight. I do not want to be that. And so I consciously choose to not eat. And that's my relationship with food. I choose to not eat. But there are a lot of people that don't have that relationship and they just eat. But when you evaluate that, many times it falls into two different categories. There are the people that are the nervous eaters, and there are the people that are unconscious eaters. Now, the nervous eaters can also be unconscious eaters, and they usually are. But then there are people that aren't nervous eaters, they're just unconscious eaters. And so nervous eaters, they usually have some kind of anxiety going on. And when that anxiety gets triggered, they use food as a vehicle to calm them down. So where some people would have a drink, go display some kind of risky behavior or addictive behavior, people that are nervous eaters and have their anxiety exacerbated will use food to quiet that addiction, for lack of better words. Unconscious eaters, on the other hand, they just eat. They're the people that can stand in front of the refrigerator and get a chicken leg out and munch on that, and then like go over there and get the bag of chips and eat that, and they don't really think about it. They don't think about what they're eating or they're doing. And one of the things that I've noticed, I talked about having COVID and the whole food thing, is I have come to like salt. I don't used to not like salty things, but now it's like salt is actually a flavor that I can recognize. How's that? And there's a lot that has to do with texture, but salt too. And I have noticed that if I have a bag, okay, so my favorite chip are Great Value, where that's the Walmart brand, jalapeno flavored chips, because all the other ones don't taste like anything. They're kind of salty. The Great Value ones have this really hard crunch to them. And so of any chip, they are actually the most satisfying. Used to not be a chip person, but I know I can sit on the sofa with that bag of chip and just like munch, 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 till I catch myself because I'm unconsciously eating and go, you ate half the bag. Granted, they're not big bags, and I put it away. And so many people, most of us are unconscious eaters, and we really don't pay attention to, what we're doing, what we're eating, and how much we're consuming. So in addition to the kinds of food we're eating, which is toxic, calorie-laden, sugar-filled, extra fatty foods, there's how we're eating the foods themselves. And so when we're talking about people that are nervous eaters, because there are people that when they get nervous, they're nervous not eaters. Like I tend to be a nervous not eater, like putting something in my stomach when I'm upset. No. But then there are other people, that's their go-to thing. So with this kind of eating, with this relationship, this unconscious relationship with food, many times these people have weight issues. And from a very intuitive place, and it's really interesting, when you talk to people that this is especially the unconscious eaters, because this is how they are, and they want to lose weight. And so when I look at them from an intuitive perspective, here's their body, but their spirit body is sitting over here, or over there. Or I had this one woman who was so dissociated from her body and what was going on inside of it, that it was like her spirit body was like over by the window. And so you see this with people with food. And the other place that you see this is when they're having pain, especially physical pain. And when doing energy work and you try to put them into their body, it's like all of the things that they didn't want to experience come to the surface because now they're in their body and they have to deal with what's there. And so with both kinds of eating, there usually is something going on inside. And so the solution, very simply said, is to slow down. And you're going to hate me for saying this, but becoming mindful of what you eat. So here's the question for you. Have you ever tried to see how long it could take you to eat one of those like little mini candy bars or an Oreo cookie? I mean, I know that I can spend a couple of minutes eating one of them little candy bars when I really put my mind to it, because it's just like a little bite and I eat the chocolate from around the outside. And then, you know, it might take me 3 or 4 bites to get through that little square. But I'm being very mindful when I do it. And when I eat it that way, because really what I'm looking for is that little sugar piece out of it, I'm done. I don't need any more candy bar. But if I have a candy bar and I'm unconsciously eating it, I'll just munch it down. I remember I went to the State Fair of Texas, which is known for having their fried stuff. You know, so they became famous because they had fried Twinkies. But the year I went, they didn't have fried Twinkies because they changed their stuff every year. But they had fried Snickers bars. And I was like, that could be interesting. Well, okay, other than the peanuts, which kind of was weird because everything was just soft and gooey and caramelly, and they were like hard and crunchy, which was a little disturbing. I literally ate the entire candy bar, and it was like a standard size bar, in 4 bites because I so unconsciously ate that thing and it just went down. And I think many of us eat that way. Now, when we're talking about nervous eaters, you know, granted, there is some reason going on that, you know, there's their anxiety that is flaring up, you know, and what is creating the anxiety in the first place needs to be dealt with. But you can use your relationship to food and use that dynamic of you nervously eating as the indicator that there's something going on. There's something triggered inside of me that I need to unwind and I need to figure out. And so even if you can't delve into it in that moment, it might be a good time to stop and reflect. And sometimes, and as we talked about a lot on the show, once you acknowledge that there's something going on, then many times you can sit there and make the change and make the transition to get the process to slow down. You know, if you recognize that you have anxiety going on, you can calm the anxiety down just by acknowledging and recognizing that you have anxiety happening. You know, and at that point in time, when you're recognizing it, maybe you could use some mindfulness technique. You could do some breathing. You could do some tapping. You can do some yoga. You can put the bag of cookies away, or as I do, I throw them in the garbage can, but I have to empty it out into the garbage can because I definitely won't go in and retrieve them then. And go do something else. Go mow the lawn. Go for a walk. Go to the gym. Do something to shift that nervous energy. That you know, and then we use that also to help you explore what the anxiety is and what the lesson was surrounding this whole event. People that are unconscious eaters, they just need to be more aware of what they put in their mouth. I mean, it's just really that simple. You just have to be more conscious about it. And we're going to cover this concept in more detail next week because it really is kind of interesting and informative. And again, if you have a weight issue, if you're with somebody that is dealing with a weight issue and they don't know what to do, this might be a good first step. But for today, our first step is to contemplate what kind of an eater are you? You know, because from there, you can take steps to shift what's going on and shift the energy around it. So maybe for the next week, start paying attention to your eating habits. Maybe start a food journal where you write down the things that you're consuming. Sometimes you start writing down like, okay, I had to have a bag of chips. I had, like I think a bunch of Oreos. I had a Big Mac and large fried and large regular Coke. And you start writing for lunch and you start writing all that stuff down. Sometimes you can amaze yourself with how much you're consuming that you're not even aware of. Okay. But it'll help you keep it on track. And then next week, we're going to delve into conscious or intuitive eating as a means of changing your relationship with food. And that, my friends, is this week's Soul Healer Moment. And the Soul Healer Moment is brought to you by soulhealer.com, where you can reach out to me to schedule a private consultation to talk about whatever is going on and allow me to help you get guidance into the next steps of your life. It's also brought to you by the Institute of Applied Energetics. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, where you can become a medical intuitive counselor, or certified energy medicine practitioner. And you can go to appliedenergeticsinstitute.com and download my free 50-page Jumpstart Your Intuition guide. Okay. So anyway, let me change over to the comment area. Oh, we do have Facebook people. Hi, Facebook people. And again, if you got here late and you're a regular YouTube person, I am so sorry that I messed up last week, but we're here now. I'm here now, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so Amy says, happy Thursday, Dr. Rita. Happy Thursday, Amy. And then Master Player Radio and Television says, evening, and number 3, please. Like, okay, Master Player, number 3 coming up. Okay, Master Player, this is your card for today. Oh, so before I do that, for anybody that is new to the show and you would like to join in, if you're hiding in the background and just lurking back there, say hi. And if you would like to get a reading, say, hey, Dr. Rita, your hair looks really good today. And I would like a reading, and I would like, and then you pick a number from 1 to 3, and that's how many times I will shuffle the cards on your behalf and then do the reading for you. Okay, back to you, Master Player. So Master Player, I feel like there's a lot of, I'm going to say drama going on around you. I feel like things are the word that I want to use are blowing up around you. I feel like it's not you that's blowing up. I'm not even feeling like it's your stuff blowing up around you, but you are watching change and transition happening around you. I feel like there is this kind of, like, you can't really believe it. I think that's the best way that I can say it, that you're looking at it and there's this disbelief of what you're seeing. And that's okay. I mean, I don't really have any commentary because there's not any way that you can change it or fix it. I mean, I do feel like you're keeping separation from it. I do feel like you are not getting involved in the middle of it, that you are staying in a more observer place, which is a much better and safer place to be. So if anything, good job for not involving yourself in that drama. Okay? Okay, let's see. Veronica would like a reading number 1. You sure can, Veronica. Okay, and that's your card for today. So Veronica, this is interesting. The words that you're saying to me, or your spirit is saying to me, is I want more. And I feel like you are kind of in a self-reflective kind of place where you're going inside and going, well, what do I really want? I feel like you've spent a lot of time allowing everybody else to control the narrative. And I feel like you're kind of done with that. But you don't know what your narrative is. And so I feel like you're going inside and kind of, I feel like it's a question you haven't really asked yourself. And I think that there have been some surprises in there. And what's interesting, and I'm going to put this out in advance, Veronica, I feel like once you figure that out, once you figure out what you want and what you need and what you deserve, you're never going to go back, ever, ever, ever. So yay, yay. Okay. Hi, Unar. Good evening, everyone. And may I have a 2, please? You sure can have a 2. Okay, Unar, and this is your card for today. And again, everybody, if these cards are resonating with you and what I'm saying makes sense and feels like good guidance in your life, please do let me know that that what I'm sharing is working for you. Okay, thanks. Okay, so Unar. Okay, so I understand what I'm seeing. I'm not really sure how this fits into your life, but I feel like you're, I don't know, in a situation, and I don't know if this is like a situation or a person or exactly what the thing is, but I feel like you are dissecting it and taking it apart and breaking it down into little pieces so that you can look at it and inspect it and make the decision, is this something that I want, or is this something that I want to do? I feel like more your pattern in the past has been like, oh, okay, come on, let's go do it. And not really ask questions, not really look for your own agreement and whether it's good or worthwhile for you. And I feel like those days are gone. And the word that I'm using is dissecting. You're really taking it apart. And this, I'm saying this in the most loving way, almost a little bit on the obsessive side, but I understand, I get where you're at. I feel like there's a trust issue that you're having with yourself, that you're not really making good decisions. And this is part of that process so that you can learn to trust yourself again. So even if it's seeming a little anal on your part, I feel like this is just part of your learning process right now. So cool. Okay, Christine. Hey, Christine. Hello, may I have a reading number 2, please? And thank you. You sure can, Christine. And again, for anybody that's listening to the show that is not here at the live, either on Facebook or YouTube, but you want to join the fun, go to my YouTube channel. That's the easiest place. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. I have put on the Rumble chat, and I'm going to try to keep that up and active for anybody that might want to interact via Rumble. And my name on Rumble is Psychic Doc. Psychic Doc on Rumble. Anyway, Christine, number 2. All right, and that's your card for today. So, Christine, I mean, the first thing that I'm getting from you is that you seem tired, you seem fatigued, you seem overextended, all of the above. I feel like, well, actually, the picture you're showing me is you're laying on the sofa and you're going, okay, I'm going to pick this thing. And it's like there are things that you want or need to do, but you really don't have the energy to do any of them. And so it's really coming from this trying to relax place. You know, so we've talked about this in the past. So maybe the more appropriate thing is either cut yourself some slack and allow yourself to rest, or shift the question, because I feel like there's kind of guilt, like I should be doing all this stuff. What do I need to do now? Or what do I need to do next? Or what do I need to accomplish today? Because sometimes in your mind, you might have this list of 10 things that you need to accomplish today, and you go do them and they're done in 10 minutes, you know, or an hour or whatever. And congratulate yourself on that and own that and pat yourself on the back, because after that, everything else is a bonus item, you know, and it's optional and it's extra. It's not part of the original thing. And so maybe separating that out so it just isn't overwhelm or just too much on your plate. What do I need to do today? And when you complete those, and if you have more time, everything else is bonus, you know, and you get to like get yourself something nice or do something nice for yourself for that bonus item. All right, ERRT Radio, you're next. And see, I'm here. I didn't forget about you. All right. Hi, Dr. Rita. I would like a reading, please. Number 3. Thank you. And so glad I made it this week. Hey, I'm so glad I made it this week. Uh-oh, ERRT Radio, you got this. Okay, so for anybody new here, these are called mass cards, and they usually show up when there's an energy that's blocked, or you don't want to look at it, or there's some resistance in your system. And I will usually pull cards till I feel that it clears. Okay. And so ERRT Radio, this card came up, which is usually a clearing card, but I'm not feeling that for you. I'm feeling like this card, it really is having to do with you putting in effort and too much energy. And where I'm feeling that the clearing is in this card here. And you know, and we all do this, so I'm not calling you out on this, you know, but I feel like you're kind of in a too much effort place right now. And I know this is something that we've talked about and you kind of go back and forth. And I just want to say hello, that maybe you need to take a breath and bring it back into being in the present and being in the now versus being in the, well, I have to do this, or I need to be here. I feel like you've really done great on getting yourself to be in the flow, you know, and I'm just telling you, you're not in the flow. Maybe that's the easiest way for me to say it. You're not in the flow right now. You're a little bit in ego, you know, and I keep, you know, it's not that I intentionally keep bringing this up, but I feel like they keep bringing it up for me to remind you of it so that you become more cognizant, more functionally aware of I'm not in the flow. I'm in the flow. I'm not in the flow. I'm in the flow. I'm not in the flow. And I think that's why they keep bringing up the same point over and over again, because I feel like when I say to you, hey, dude, you're not in the flow, it's like you pop back in. So it's a lesson. It's all a lesson. Hi, Amy. And she says, can I have a reading tonight, please? Number 2, thank you. You sure can, Amy. Okay, and that's your card for today. So Amy, I don't even want to say this out loud, like in public, but I have to. Amy, I'm just feeling like your energy feels a little bit heavy, like you almost feel a little depressed. I feel like you are almost forcing yourself to rise up out of the ashes when the rest of you just really wants to stay in bed and not do anything. I know that that's not you, that's some energy, other energy in your space interfering. I want to acknowledge and say hello. I feel like there are things that you have been trying to do in a direction you've been trying to head, and it has not been as fruitful or successful as you figured it would be. And I feel like that's being a little bit frustrating to you. I want to say hello to that frustration because I feel like that is the source, and that is what's sitting underneath that I don't want to get out of bed energy, but I'm making myself, but that whole thing is interfering with your body's ability to have its energy flow correctly and naturally. I hope that makes sense. So breathe, take a bath, do stuff. Hi, Bradley. Glad you could make it. Hi, Nina. Good to see you. And then ERRT Radio says, I like your top. Looks great. And so does your hair. Thank you. Bradley says, hi. Veronica says, Rita is addicted to chips. It's like, not really. Okay, so see, this is the saddest part. The saddest part of this whole COVID thing is chocolate tastes terrible. There's not anything better than a good chocolate chip cookie in my book. But, you eat a chocolate chip cookie and you're like, and it tastes awful, and chips taste better. That's like a 180 thing. But but when you talk about food, you're either a sweet person or a salty person. And I used to be a sweet person, but sweets don't taste good, which has been kind of good on a lot of levels because it has taken me out of the cookie addiction part and moved me into a chip addiction. And I don't even like chips that much, so I'm not super addicted. Okay, let's see. Veronica, fried cheesecake is the bomb. God, I wish I could eat that. That would be really good. Then ERRT Radio says, with the procedure I went through and then being in the hospital 4 days for each of the first 4 months of this year. Yikes, not fun. Tyrone says, hi, Rita, how are you? I'd like a reading. I do not understand the different levels. So Tyrone, it's just how many times I'm going to shuffle for you. And I'm going to shuffle 2 times on your behalf today, but I hope you come back. And it's just how many times I'm going to shuffle the cards. That's it. Okay. I'm going to shuffle 2 times on your behalf because I really want to make sure that you do get your reading today, because sometimes it gets a little overloaded and I don't get to the bottom of the pile. So 2 times. But thank you for tuning in. Okay, and this is your card for today. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to speak from a very energetic place first, and then hopefully I can convert that into English that will make sense. So when I look at your energy, I feel like you as spirit. So when I was doing the opening, I was talking about people that are dissociated in relationship to food or things like that, and they often sit to the side of themselves. When I look at you, you are actually pushed forward, like you as spirit is pushed forward, like you are always living in the future. I feel like one, things don't happen fast enough, but two, I feel like it can at times, and maybe this is, the issue. Um, it makes it so that your ability to manifest into the world becomes somewhat inhibited. So you can think these great things and have these plans and have it all worked out. When it comes to the here and now and having it become reality, I feel like it's almost like the line gets pinched and it has to kind of get around this corner. And so the energy that is created here doesn't get to go through the pipe the whole way. And you get a lot of trickle. Um, I feel like when that happens, it's very frustrating to you because you're like, but I had these great plans and all of this good stuff going on, and it ended up like that, and you don't really understand. And I'm hoping that this makes sense to you. Um, you need to bring yourself as spirit back into your body, be a little bit more in the present time. Um, it is not a place that is comfortable for you. When I sit there and I put you into your physical body, um, I don't know, it feels uncomfortable and nervous. And, the world is easier if you are out there in the future. So this is something that you might want to work on. Um, because it really will shift your relationship to the world and the world around you by doing that. Okay. ERRT Radio says, I lost 20 pounds and I discovered sugar was making me fat. Well, that's one of the things that sugar does. It's secret calories and it's addictive calories. And we're going to talk about foods and diets and stuff like that next week. But yeah, I mean, that's why like keto has become so popular, and, protein-based diets have become really popular. And one of the other things about consuming a lot of sugar is candida. So Candida albicans is a kind of fungus that lives inside our body. And so if you consume a lot of sugar, if you consume a lot of carbohydrates, so like bread or pasta or rice, the candida lives on it. And the candida will sit there and be like, feed me, feed me. And it will make it so that you would want to eat more carbohydrates or more sugar, whatever, your carb of choice is. Just to satisfy that craving. But yeah, sugar's not good. And, they say that cancers feed on sugar. There's a lot of stuff that feeds on sugar. So sugar is really not our friend. Okay, Lozinger time. Okay. And then Unar says, I love the idea of eating slower. Makes sense. Good advice as usual. Well, you're so welcome, Unar. It really is an art to eating slow. I mean, I can chow down a meal fast. There are people that eat faster than me, but I can eat pretty fast. But I'm really a portion control kind of gal. But if you want to lose weight and you want to change your relationship with food, especially if you have a bad relationship with food, you know, slowing down your eating. And when you slow down your eating too, and this has to do with weight loss, it gives the stomach the opportunity to acknowledge that there's food in there. You know, so as an example, you're having pasta. This happens to me all the time. I love pasta, and you know, so you're eating pasta and you can like eat pasta and then get second and eat more pasta and eat this giant mountain of pasta. And then like 20 minutes later, and God forbid you have anything to drink, you know, and you realize exactly how much pasta you managed to like scarf down. Slowing that down will make it so that your stomach has the opportunity to register that you've put food in it. ERRT Radio, great topic again, Dr. Rita. You're so welcome. Okay, Ann Lee. Hi, Ann Lee. Number 2, thank you. Hi, Ann. Are you a new name here too? If you are, welcome. Welcome to Thursday Night Live with Dr. Rita Louise. Okay, so Tyrone, this is a shuffle, you know, where you go with the cards. I would do it, but I'm in the air. Okay, see, now I'm messed up. Okay, I did 2 on your behalf. I would show you, but I can't do it on the camera. Okay, and that's your card for today. So, Anne, I don't know if this is a natural thing for you, if this is a right now thing for you, but I feel like you have kind of locked yourself up, like locked yourself up in the bathroom, not literally, obviously, the bathroom, because I feel like there's you, there's your energy, and you're in your little bubble, you're in your own space. And there could be a volcano happening out there and sirens and people screaming and yelling and all this stuff going on, and you're not allowing it to affect you. You know, so I don't know if this is where your energy vibrates normal. I mean, because I don't know. I feel like this is kind of a newer place for you. But I just feel there's this very healing and relaxing energy that is tied to it. Okay. You know, so I get the impression, like if I go back in time, I get the impression that it wasn't always this way. I feel like this is something that you've been working on and you have been getting better and better of, you know, I don't even want to say isolating, but kind of, you know, like putting up better boundaries, securing your space so that everything else going on in the world isn't affecting you. I mean, I do feel like when your boundaries are down, your energy is really wide open and is very easily affected. And so if this is something you've been actively working on, you're doing a great job. Okay. All right, Bradley, finally. And he would like a reading number 1. You sure can, Bradley. Now I'm curious. Okay, that's your card for today. So Bradley, it's like when I look at your energy, I feel like you are feeling like it is being inhibited. It is being hindered. I feel like, you know, the picture you're showing me is like you trying to swim upstream. You know, or like you're trying to swim through mud. I mean, it's just thick and you're not moving very fast. And I'm just going to leave this with a question is like, well, maybe if you feel like you're swimming upstream, you should stop swimming upstream and allow the flow to take you where it wants to take you. Even though your conscious mind is saying, I need to get there, but maybe spirit is saying, well, really, we want to send you over there. So maybe just stop swimming, get on a little raft, and allow the raft to take you to the perfect place that you're supposed to be. Veronica says, sugar messes me up. Me too. Me too. Bradley says, your hair looks great. Thank you, Bradley. Master Player says, thank you, Rita. I guess going to see me some live wrestling did help me while my cousin got arrested. Ooh, that's intense. All right, Gary. Hey, Gary. Could I have a reading number 2? And please pray for me. I have COVID. I found out yesterday. Well, I'm sorry about that, Gary. So I'm hoping that, well, okay. So from, anything that I've seen, it's like people aren't really dying from COVID. It's fairly minor these days. I don't know if you have any Ivor, I'm just going to say that, in your home or access to that you can take for the next week. One of the other things is that tonic water has quinine in it, which is also good for it. And so drinking some of that, like hydrochloroquine, the drug is basically quinine, or a derivative of that. Vitamin C, zinc, vitamin D, those kind of things to just support your immune system. Oregano oil or garlic or something like that that's antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal, those kind of things. And everybody pray for Gary. He got COVID, and hopefully you don't get COVID mouth because it sucks. And I just am like shuffling for you, but I'm going to stop right now, Gary, and pull your card. Okay. Oh, that one kind of fits for today. Okay, so I kind of already mentioned this a little bit ago, Gary. I don't really feel like there's anything for you to have to worry about. Just be kind to yourself. Take supplementation to support your immune system. I think Dr. McCullough says, use, well, he says a nasal rinse, but, like nasal things to clean out your sinus passages. And again, vitamin C, zinc, vitamin D, those drugs that you're not supposed to talk about or take because that's just for crazy people. And just, again, take care of yourself. I don't really feel like there's anything to worry about. I don't get the impression that you're going to get in the hospital. I don't feel like it's going to be that bad of a case. So you're good. You're good. So ERRT Radio says, hey, Bobby C has your reading on point again. Okay. And then Veronica says, exactamente, nailed it. Thank you. Ricky, hey, Ricky. Good evening and happy Thursday, Doc. Rita, love your hair. Looks fabulous. See, you guys, I'm getting you all trained. May I have a number 3, please? Thank you so much. You sure can, especially since you said I had good hair. Yeah, and where's Marco today? He's probably hiding in the background again, and then I'll say his name, and he'll be like, I'm here. Okay, Ricky, that's your card for today. So interesting, Ricky. I feel like, I'm going to say today, maybe yesterday, like in this very recent period of time, that you've had an aha moment. I feel like there's something that you have been, I'm not even going to say obsessing on, but thinking about, trying to figure out, I don't know, but that the walls came tumbling down and you were able to see what was going on with increased clarity, and that's the part that I want to emphasize, is that you were in this position of kind of like a 180 vision. And, I don't know, there's a whole, when we have those moments of clarity, they can be momentary. They can last a few minutes. They can maybe last an hour. I don't know. I've never really timed one. But they always feel so good, and I just want to acknowledge that for you, that, you've had one of those moments of clarity. So hopefully you noticed that you had one of those moments of clarity. And I hope what you were looking for, trying to figure out, that you got it figured out. Okay. Hey, Christine, how are you? Unar says, thank you, Dr. Rita. Was another good one, especially the obsession part. I've been sort of picking myself apart lately, too. Okay, Unar, don't do that. Okay. Christine says, thank you for the reading. Very on point. And I'm actually sitting sideways on my recliner, like you said. Where are the pool boys with the fans and the grapes? That's what I want to know, Christine. All right, Ann, I did sometimes there's just delay in getting down through the list. Austin, hey, you are not, you made it in by the wire. And he says, hi, Dr. Rita, I hope I'm not too late. I'm on my flight. You're on your flight. You sure can. Number 3, you sure can. Congratulations, Austin. Wow, this is interesting. And so this card came up, and so like, look at that picture. And a lot of times, like, kind of the generic, because I don't really know, like, this is what this card means, but the generic image thing I talk about is, are you going on a trip? Are you planning on a trip? Hey, Austin, are you going on a trip or planning a trip? Wow. So, Austin, I don't remember if you have been to this place before, but I feel like, and this is going to sound really weird, but I think you'll hear me on this. I feel like you're going to re-find a piece of yourself that you left there and reconnect with that, like a piece of your heart or a piece of your soul. And I feel like you're going to have this experience of like, I'm coming home and I am home, and that feeling that I'm getting from you about that makes me go, and I'm not going to read this. I'm just going to make the commentary. How many past lives have you had either in that location or in an environment that was reminiscent of that location that you're going to? This time I feel like you're going into the whole thing way more grounded. I feel like when you went the last time, it was more in a, I'm running away and I need to get away and I need to like go do this stuff. This time I feel like it's a much more planned thing. There's a lot more grounding to the whole thing. And, you're attacking it and heading there in a very different headspace. So very cool, very cool. And I hope that you tune into the show every so often while you're there. It would be nice to see your name. All right, ERRT Radio, very interesting. Facing medical issues is a tough thing to do. Yes, it is. So ERRT Ready says, Dr. Rita, I think they were changing the sugary stuff, meaning the ingredients. Well, they're changing the dyes and whatever, but they're not changing, they're not getting rid of the sugar, and they're not necessarily educating people on that. And, you know, I can sit here and go on and on and on about how Google is suppressing alternative voices. But if you want to learn more about that, you can go to my Substack, which is, hang on a second. I want this one. This one, add to stage. This one. Oh, it's not on here. Never mind. Never mind. But while I have this here, hang on. Don't forget, you can go to my tip jar and leave me a little something, something at soulhealer.com/live. That's soulhealer.com/live. Okay. All right. We're running out of time. Let me just kind of go through these real quick. Jan says, hi, Dr. Rita. I'm getting a lot of reverb on sound here tonight. I'll just say your hair looks great. Can I have a reading? Jan, you are too late. Yvonne, too late. You're going to have to come earlier next week. Amy says, spot on. I feel the energy is not mine. Tides are changing. I'm taking charge on my way to the tip jar. Thank you, Amy, as always. Marco, there you are. Okay. Okay, so Rusty Tracks, I don't know who you are, but hi, welcome to the show, but I'm going to go. Thanks for thinking about me, spot on with my reading today. You're so welcome, Gary. Okay. Anyway, guys, it's that time. As always, this show, oops, let me turn that off. This show is brought to you by soulhealer.com. So if you have things going on in your life and you would like some insights from me, whether it's about a physical issue, an emotional issue, an issue at work, an issue in your relationship, soulhealer.com, reach out to me and we can set up a time for a private consultation. Anyway, guys, till next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.